Welcome to Behind Life Struggles. I'm your host, Nelsie. My co-host, Mr. Forbes. How's it going?
In the building, all good.
And I want to welcome my guests. We'll start with Simone in the corner. How you doing?
Hey.
Shayla.
Hi.
And the one and only, Lily.
Hey.
How's your week been?
Week's been good. I mean, just, busy at work, learning new things, new job. That's how it goes,
Yeah.
When you got a new job, introducing yourself to people and having those team meetings that you rather do without the camera on.
Fair enough.
Let's normalize that.
Fair enough. So,
Yeah.
in regards to our current affairs this week, I want to do a slight twist because Jams sent me something, which what he sent me kind of annoyed me. We can discuss this, yeah?
All right.
So, a man went on Instagram and he said that people were calling him a cuck.
Calling him a what, sorry?
A cuck.
The C-U-N-T.
C-U-C-K. Yeah?
What's that?
C-U-C-K, I don't know what that is.
I didn't have a clue what that meant. Yeah? So, I actually went and researched to make sure what the person's explaining is actually what it is.
Mhm.
What he said was a man who stands by and watches a woman get beat up. Yeah? But he came on Instagram and said that his girlfriend sleeps with other men, and while he's there, yes, so he don't mind sleeping on the couch while she's doing what she's doing. So I'm like, whoa. Why does this need to be on Instagram? I get, okay, if that's your lifestyle, yeah, cool. But once you bring it to the public, now
You should be embarrassed to share that out loud.
I was shocked. I think, are you serious? So he's got a problem. He's got a problem with people calling him a cuck rather than what is going on in his yard.
Yeah, but some people are different though. Some people be looking at. I used to believe those things are like off the radar, and it's impossible and nobody would like that. But it's weirdly people into that.
I don't ever float your boat, I guess.
I know. It's like for like normal people, like my mind can't even contemplate things like that at all. Like, I couldn't even watch somebody hug my girl like that, much less naked in bed next door. No, sir.
Listen, yeah. So wait, he's been watching someone. He watched a woman get beat up, and then
No.
Sorry.
He's upset because people's calling him a cuck. Yes, but the issue is that he allows his girlfriend. Well, actually, okay, I should say the word allow, but his girlfriend sleeps with other men while he's in the house sleeping on the couch.
Well,
Maybe
he
they
must
have an
allow
open
it, though. He
relationship.
must allow it.
Maybe they have an open relationship.
Well, if you think about it, yeah, technically, if you're in a relationship with somebody and she decides to do something, you can't control what she does, can you?
Maybe it's open.
To the streets.
It might be an open relationship. You can't say that. That might be how his relationship set up.
He said that he will never do it.
Because he doesn't want to do it.
Yeah, but he allows her to do it because he loves her.
That's his prerogative.
There's a thing called mental illness.
I'd love to know who suggested this setup, because obviously it can't be him. I doubt it's him that suggested let's do it. It's not like she suggested we set this thing up and he's just gone along with it.
I definitely think she wears the trousers in this relationship.
Yeah, she clearly does.
I don't even know. She wear the whole wardrobe. All the pants and she got all the jeans.
I don't want to call him weak-minded, but clearly there's something wrong in what he's drinking.
I'm in agreement.
I was just shocked. Like, I think, okay, one thing if you're both doing all those madness, okay, fair enough, fine. But you're telling me you wouldn't be downstairs on the couch listening to that guy on.
And those are the people. Those are the kind of people that will sit there and be like, "But love makes you do stupid things when you love somebody. This is what you let them do."
I think they both have psychological problems. Everyone is different. She must have some sort of, I would say, some sort of issue somewhere.
You mean he? Because she's taking advantage of him.
No, but fair enough. No, but the thing also is, I'm not just looking at him. I'm looking at her thinking, what is she getting?
She can
out
see a
of...
mug. He must be paying for things.
No, but like, if we just kind of put that to the side for a second, you think about what is she getting from this? Because
he must have money. Maybe it's money.
You know what I think? I'm looking at it in a different way. I'm thinking maybe it's her that isn't doing anything, and he's doing all of like a lot of things, because maybe there's something that in her that makes him want to just be like, okay, yeah, do whatever you do, but I'm still with you. I'm still gonna be here. Like, you need anything, blah blah. You don't know. He might be, she might have met him in a circumstance, and then it's just the roles switched, and then he's like, you know what? I love this person as a friend, but also as a lover, but I get what she's doing, but like, she was there for me, so you can do what you want to do. Maybe that he's not got that connection with her anymore in terms of like, oh, he's so in love. Maybe he just has love for her.
Let me just clear that point up.
Yeah, I need to clear. Can you just clear out something as well? Can you clear it as well, along with what you're going to say?
Go on.
I just want to know, does he have money? Does she have money? Or are they just basic, regular people?
Basic. Yeah,
I don't think it's a money thing. That's not money.
That's a joke.
His explanation was that he loves her and he doesn't want to put any bounds or controls on her. He wants her to enjoy her life and be free.
So it's a Will and Jada thing, yeah?
Kinda, yeah.
There's no money. Will and Jada have money. That's why he has no money.
That's the only difference in this picture, in this narrative.
But you know what? Sometimes it's not always about money. Sometimes
it is.
I don't think it's about money. I don't know
why.
What about those people?
Not in this situation.
What about those people who just want friendships, or they just want companionship,
mental
or
illness?
They just want comfort. They just want someone to speak to.
It's called mental illness. You need to love yourself.
But this is why I was
love yourself.
Okay,
this is why I was saying, yeah. If I looked at it, I think they both have some psychological issue. Whether he's psychologically dependent on her, and then she in herself, she might have had some different kind of relationships prior to him. So she must feel she's trying to act out. Because I don't think a woman consciously is just going to go and have a relationship with a man and then decide to sleep with loads of other men just for the sake of just doing it. I think it has to be something a little bit deeper than just her just getting up today. I want to sleep with Tom, Dick, and Harry. And he's just like, okay, yeah. So I go downstairs and watch a football.
It also,
I think he's
watching them, like.
I think she's taking advantage of.
Can you, Lily?
Yeah, no, I was saying, like, it just sounds weird. Like, it sounds even like he's watching them. Like, how can you be comfortable with that? That's weird.
Well, to be honest, I have known of people in a relationship where the man doesn't necessarily have an issue with the woman sleeping with somebody else. I know someone personally that if it's a thing where between them, if they discussed and they said, okay, she said, I want to sleep with this person over there, and together they discuss it. I've seen this person before, and he said to me is he can detach that sort of emotional attachment from.
But all men can do that. That's standard for men.
No, don't say that. No. If I truly love the woman, there ain't no way.
I disagree.
Can you convince me that it's okay to allow her to speak to somebody else while we're in a relationship? But some men can do that. That's crazy.
But it's all about the intention, though, because it's all about the intention. Because you said that you're not the type of guy that can do that. So obviously it shows that you wear your heart on your sleeve, or that you're open, or you're that.
No, it's not. I'm an alpha male. I'm alpha male. I can't have another man come in and sort of be in my space.
Territory.
I'm not saying that.
Because I own that space.
Big man.
Yeah. Man can't come into my space and piss on my tree.
Yeah, exactly. But then, I get what you're saying about your friend, that that can detach his emotions, whereas you can't.
I feel like you're part of the small minority, though.
It's not alpha.
Yeah,
that's what it is.
But it interjects. So what I would say is, if you're in a relationship for 20 years, I think your mindset will change. When you're at the beginning stages, you know, everyone's in love. I love that person and I always want to be around that person. Give it 15, 20 years. You won't be saying that no more. Yes? You might love that person still. Yes. But that some people are okay with, you know, making new relationships. So they don't want to get rid of what they have, but they also want to have their cake and also eat it at the same time. So hence why you can see the thing with Will and Jada.
Yeah, but the thing is, can I just say something? I don't know. I can't understand any perspective, only because in my mind, if there is no, I know you don't want to talk about this, but if there is no money, you can't be doing that. You can't be broke and be doing these things, because I know a lot of people that do stuff like that. But the difference is the person's being looked after financially. So you can go and do what you want to do, and you can sleep with multiple people, but as long as you're looking after the person financially, I just feel like if you're this whole he's sitting on the couch and she's doing her thing, they must have nothing. What you know? Who's like working? I don't really understand what's going on in this.
I don't know. From my perspective, you make it sound like you say, well, it's okay to disrespect me as long as you know, do my nails, cater to. That's definitely not okay.
Prostitution.
No, it's not prostitution.
Yeah, I would agree.
Be broke and cheating.
That
don't make no sense.
I'm basically paying for sex.
So. No, it's not paying for sex. You're paying. Think about if you're well looked after, yeah. Then okay, it's like a man with money. Most men with money don't really have, you know, they're not there all the time. They're not going to be with the person. They're busy. So obviously, sometimes when they're out and about and they're on, like, you know, on business, which is wherever, they might have extra, you know, activities with other women, and their wife. This is the reality. The wife will be at home and she's getting, as long as she's being looked after, she knows her man. As long as it's not in her face, she will know her man is doing things. He might be out presenting other women to people that he knows, but as long as she's being looked after, it's fine. But when I hear people like this sitting on couches while your woman is upstairs, this don't make sense to me.
So you're saying you can't let a broke man disrespect you, but you could let a rich man disrespect you?
Because at least you're getting something out of it. You're getting.
That's not.
It might sound bad, but it's the truth. Do you know? At the end of the day, people will sleep with people for free that take the mick out of them, are toxic. But then there's men out there that will look after you and do that. I'd rather be looked after than be.
Why do you think looking after?
Because
what?
It's not about that. Some people have different values in life.
What do you mean it's not about that? It's not about what being looking after yourself?
I can look after myself, but my thing is, I like to be in help to be maintained. So I maintain myself already. So I'm gonna come over here and
you say you want me to run the race for myself and then help you run your race as well. Yes,
no, I run my race, but you can't come and be a burden. No, that's what I'm saying.
Run your race.
What I'm saying is,
carry you, yeah.
You can't come and be. If I look after myself, you can't come and be a burden to me. You need to up levels as well. But anyway,
I agree.
What I'm saying is, I just there must be something mentally wrong.
Oh, I did say that. You remember, right?
Yeah.
There has to be some mental.
It has to be something mentally, like whether he's got childhood trauma or she's got sexual issues. But my thing is,
he's maybe a soft personality. Maybe she dated guys that's cheated on the left, right, and center. So now she's finding a guy where, you know, when you're in a relationship where one person likes the other person more. In every relationship, there is nothing called balance in a relationship. There's always one person that likes the other person more. Let no one tell you otherwise. Maybe it is where he likes her so much more than she likes him. So she has that psychological control where she can now go and do what she wants, and in her eyes, it's acceptable, and he's obviously so swept by her.
But then she's disrespecting him, as far as I'm concerned. You're allowing.
Yeah. Some men, sometimes can be so engrossed into the woman, and that they'll just do anything for them. It's just like
but this is the thing.
They just, I don't know what it is. The woman, I don't know if she's doing witchcraft or whatever, but she just got that. She got that thing for the man's. You know, it makes him go, oh my gosh, like oh look at Shay, like oh my gosh, anytime like she comes. He's like a servant at her aid all the time. So maybe that's for him. What we think to be normal. Maybe he doesn't have a psychological problem, but maybe he needs to understand that. Listen, take a step back. Look at your situation from an outsider's perspective. Is this really right? What's going on? And then instead of being bewitched, do you get what I mean?
The point I was making, in every relationship there's a benefit. I feel like you have a benefit. When you're in a relationship, there's a benefit. It brings something to you. You know, it brings you something. And maybe
he might have grew up in a household of women, and there's not enough men in the household they grew up with.
But maybe to him, it's an endearing thing. It makes him feel like a man, like he can sit there and let his woman pound other men.
Yeah, that he's not a man. Then I've got another word that I can't say out loud.
Where would you learn that
control of it from his household?
Yeah, so he could have grown up in a house where there was a man in the house, or a man or male figure of some sort. It doesn't have to be his dad or his granddad. There wasn't a strong enough male figure in his life for him to see that sort of behavior, and it was acceptable. I don't know where he's learned that.
Let me end on this final note. What if he's just that much in love? You know what they say, love is blind.
It's mentally ill.
Yeah, and sometimes I think that when men are in love, sometimes they do some, even like women, you know, they do some foolish things. They accept things that in a normal scenario they wouldn't accept.
Usually. Yeah.
So you know, so from that point of view, that could be the case. So I'm going to move on now to topic number 2, which also incensed me. Yeah. So this young girl said that she loves it when her man goes down on her when she's on her period. It shows that he loves all of it. Now, I'm thinking, come on, okay, you know, if that's what floats your boat.
I don't think I've got any words for this one.
Neither do I.
That's cool. That's cool. If that's what floats your boat, that's cool. But why do you need to put that on the internet?
She's got issues too.
Her
and the first man need help.
You know what? I know some nasty brothers, and I know some nasty brothers. I wouldn't be surprised if a couple of them man they do the thing. I know some nasty brothers, so this is why I don't drink from no man. I don't go to no man's yard and eat from them.
Sounds like someone else I know.
This is why you eat at your own house and eat other people's yard. The moral of the story is cook your own food.
You know Backchat? You know Backchat? I don't know
who was her.
Backchat, yeah, but that girl, she said that, and then 3 years later, she said that. Oh, that didn't really happen. She only did it for clout to get ratings.
That's what I was going to say. You might have just said it for attention, just for likes. Some people do stuff for likes.
People are nuts, Just disgrade yourself.
Look at Gorilla, the one that stuck her hair to her head. Look how that turned out.
I don't even think she admits. She's.
You know what I mean? So the things you would do for likes.
She deserves for her head to look like that. She deserves it. She should have just stick her head to the ceiling.
No, she's silly though.
Just stay there.
But now, look at her now. Have you seen she's got a new hair business now. She's got like
I wouldn't buy nothing from her. The ingredients are involved.
But we know underneath that there ain't nothing. But
you know what? She's changed from how she was back then. She's changed to a different person. So this is what I'm saying. Like, people love to, get clout and stuff, but then they don't realize that in the next 5 years you can be a total different person. Be like, you know what? Life is more than a clout. You can go get your own. You can
transform it to business, right? So I agree. If you take the opportunity, and like they say, nothing really such as bad as exposure. As long as you get an exposure of some sort, depends on how you spin it, right? Always make it profitable.
The girl was like looking at him, and she's like, "Why are you calling my boyfriend saying that for? Why are you calling my boyfriend?" They were like, "No, but your boyfriend is the one in the wrong. He's saying
what was in the wrong?"
Because basically, she's the girlfriend, right? He's not supposed to know that the girlfriend's standing there, but the best friend has to call the boyfriend to invite him over to the house to watch a movie or something. And obviously, the girlfriend's got to be silent and just see what the boyfriend's going to say. Okay. So obviously, the boyfriend's like, "Yeah, that's fine. Just don't tell my girlfriend that I came over. I'll calm now."
Because he ain't got no loyalty.
Yeah.
So,
and then the girlfriend.
The girl is her best friend, right?
Yeah. So then the girlfriend
He's slipping. He's a school.
But the girlfriend cusses the best friend and goes, why are you calling my boyfriend for asking questions like that? What's wrong with you? I can't trust you. You're supposed to be my best
She's
friend.
vexed with the wrong person, brethren.
You're mad. Some people are mad.
You need to talk to your man.
It's part of the show, right? But to be honest, like, he's a schoolboy. He ain't learned nothing in life. I can't teach you nothing. If you ain't learned, that's one of the biggest no-goes area in the world. You ain't learned nothing. I can't teach you. Yeah.
Alright, cool. So kind of move on to the main topic, which is gender roles.
Yeah.
Okay, so does gender roles matter? So I'll start with you, Simone.
I've given this some thought. I think it does. I didn't think it did in the beginning, but I've changed my perspective, and this is why. I think there's just something that women are good at that men are not, and vice versa. I just think it's in our DNA, it's in our making. And though, you know, there's nothing to stop me from being a builder tomorrow, statistically, it's not a female dominant job, the same way that midwives is not really a male dominant job. So for me, I just think with regards to work, I think it matters. If you're asking it with regards to relationships, I'm 100% a 50-50 person.
Okay, so this question goes to Lily. Would you be happy if your partner said that he wants to stay at home and look after children while you go out to work?
Do you know what? If I love what I do, and I honestly just love what I do, right? And then I come back home, as long as he's cooking, cleaning, all of that stuff, then I don't mind. If I actually love what I do, like if I'm just like, I don't know, say, let's not think too big, but let's say I'm a HR director and international HR director, and I get to go overseas and, you know, do all of that, implement strategies, whatever. And then, you know, he's looking after the kids. I'll actually be fine with that, because if I love it, then I'll want to do it. But if it's just something like what I'm doing now, no.
It's not making enough money for two people.
Not today.
Exactly. No.
Okay, so the same question goes to Forbes. So would you be happy to stay at home while your partner goes to work and brings in the money?
No, because it's not it wouldn't be my nature. It would go against everything within me to stay at home and then allow, let's say, my partner to go out to work. I would, if there had to be a choice made between one of us working or not, it would have to be me working and she staying home.
Okay. Same question to Shayla.
No.
So you're saying you wouldn't be happy if your man stayed at home and you went out to work?
No.
And
because I feel like, from Lee's point, yeah, I could do something that I love, but I still need to see that my man is, to me, that doesn't show that he's the head of the house. You can't come tell me that, you know, I can't buy this, or, you know, we should be spending this when you ain't bringing no money and you have no right. You're not. I just feel like you can't express that manlyhood on me when I'm the one going out slaving myself to work. I feel like it needs to be, I feel like gender roles matter. A man should go and look after his family, provide, and look after his kids.
Okay, so if you're at home and he's going out and earning the money, can you tell him what he can do with his money?
That's what I was gonna say.
Can I do what? No, I can't tell him what he can do with his money, but I can advise him as his wife.
Okay, so if he turns around and tells you that he works hard for his money, yes, the bottom line is, if I'm giving you money, I expect something in return. So if I'm the one that's going out and I'm working hard to earn all the money, and you're just basically in the home, well, I expect when I come home, the food to be on the table.
That's fine.
The place to be clean. I don't expect to do no work in the house, zero work in the house. Yes, because
do you know what? I'm very all for that. I have no problem, because do you know what? At the end of the day, I respect that he's doing that. As long as I get my money that he has to provide for me, and I can spend my money how I want to spend my money that you give to me, that's fine. I'm not going to dictate to what he does. I will make, if I'm not working all day and he's gone to work, of course I'm going to have food on the table. Whether I order it and put it in a pot, he ain't going to know that. But I will have food on the table. I will make sure it's provided. I'll look after the house. I'll go and pay someone to come clean up. I will make sure I play my part, my position in the house. I like that dominance. I like a man that's very, you know, does it all and puts his weight up. I like that.
But the whole point of you being at home, I would think, is that, sorry, because if I was like, you know, international HR director, whatever, I would be very upset if my man's ordering Uber Eats. Yeah,
he won't know. How you gonna know?
You need to go to Tesco's and cook a.
He ain't gonna know.
Meal. Like, what is that? And
No.
you're asking someone
Of course,
it's my money. It's my money.
Well, how can I get someone to clean the house?
If I go and buy a jerk chicken from the shop and go and act like I cooked it and put it in the oven, how is he going to know? He's not even at home half. How would he know? He's not going to know. People do this all the time. Anyway, my point is that I don't mind to play my role in the household if my man's working hard outside. And I feel like as a man, as a person, if your man is out working and he comes home and the house is messy, I feel that's kind of disrespectful, to be honest. Because it's like you have been at home all day and you're just, what are you doing? Yeah, you have kids to look after, but what are you doing? You know, that's person. I feel like that's, yeah. I don't mind
Welcome, Jams.
Hi.
Good evening, guys. Sorry, I'm late to the party.
My brother.
Don't worry. So the question we are talking about, gender roles. If your partner is giving you all the money, do you think there is a level of control in the sense that you can't spend it on whatever you want?
So we're talking about being in a relationship and we're both earning.
No, wife is at home and you're at work while the children's at school. Your wife is using your money to just basically do all manner of things with it.
Right.
Even though you gave it to her, the fact is that you still feel that she should be doing certain things with it that is responsible. Or would you say to someone and say you are wasting my money, even though it's no longer your money?
Not necessarily. Again, if we're married, it's more of a thing of it's our money. And I'd like to think that we do some contracting prior to that arrangement taking place. You know, so it's all good. I'm the one who's going out to work. I'm the main earner. You know, you've got control of the purse strings, as it were. You know, but again, you know, if I'm diligent, then I'm gonna monitor that. You know, I'm gonna have a look at what's going on with the spending and whatnot. And again, yeah, we'd have like regular conversation about, you know, we'll review it. We'll review the bank account regularly. You know, these are the things that, you know, you spent money on and so on and so forth. And obviously talk about whether you know, those expenses or whether the money's been spent on, whether, you know, those were necessities or whatever the case may be. So it's all about communication at the end of the day. You know, and again,
and they're spending.
Well, yeah, because it's our money, you know. And if I'm the only earner, then obviously we've got things that we need to take care of, isn't it? We've got to pay household bills. We've got to make sure we pay for the kids and the things that they need.
You, not we. There's no we in there. It's you that's got to pay it.
Exactly, because you're the one that's going out. So she should have,
because she's not earning. So it's not a shared problem. It's your problem, because without you, she has nothing, right?
No. Well, equally, so if she's staying at home and we've got kids and she's looking after the home and looking after the kids, then it's our money, isn't it? That's part of the. It's a mutual agreement.
But she can go shopping and buy herself some things, nice things.
But again, that's something that we'd agree to, isn't it? Yeah, you can spend, you know, X amount of money, you know. But it's all about being. It's all about being.
Most of the kids at school, though. Most of the kids at school, though. What am I giving that money for? I should give half of my money to the teacher. Right? Half the time, because the teacher.
Hold on.
The teacher
the teacher gets paid anyway.
Now listen, you know, I joined the party late, yeah, but it was framed that this is my wife. It's my wife. It's not any old side thing or any old thing that I'm with.
So I'm saying that in today's world, you can't just say my wife. So effectively, it could be a partner. Yes.
Okay.
But I don't see why your view should change, because nowadays a lot more people are cohabiting, and aren't getting married. So, 1 second, let me finish. So, if you're your partner living together, because basically you're living like you're married anyway. So if you're living together and you're the one that's gone out to work, she's the one that takes care of the children, they're off to school, and then she's spending the money which you've given to her. Now, technically, if you're basically questioning every single thing she spends, you're gonna have a problem.
Yeah, no. So from my perspective, it's not me questioning. It's not like a haphazard thing where I'm just questioning everything she spends money on, or I'm just kind of like, every so often questioning things. It's like it's an ongoing dialogue. Is that communication there? Is that understanding? You know what I mean? You're in charge of the finances. You can spend X amount of money on these particular things, these luxuries for yourself or whatever. But these as long as the household bills are being taken care of. And again, it's an ongoing dialogue. It's not a thing where she could just willy-nilly decide, I'm gonna go down to like West End and go Selfridges and go on like a little shopping spree. No,
because sometimes, right? Sometimes as well, women don't like it when they feel like you're telling them what to do, or like you're in charge of everything. So then imagine you've got this great communication now, and all of a sudden in her head it ticks. Oh, he's telling me we have to do things together. But what if I want to go on holiday with my girls? Your partner wants to go on holiday with her girls, or she wants to go to, I don't know, STK, and not tell you one night.
No, it's simple. It's simple. You take yourself out and get a job.
We got there.
You said that your money is her money.
Get a job.
If she says, "Oh no, I'm gonna take X," she's not gonna communicate that to you, but she's gonna go off and go to STK, because when you want to go to STK or by yourself, you don't need to tell her, "Oh yeah, go and STK with the boys. I spent 100."
Nah, if you're in a healthy relationship, then you have that dialogue, you have that communication. Yeah, babes, next weekend I'm looking to do this with the boys. That are you all right with this? It's going to cost this amount of money. Is that good? You know what I mean? That's a healthy relationship.
But just because, yeah, okay, I believe you can still have a healthy relationship, and the person just is thinking like, oh wow, his money is my money, so I'm gonna go to SDK and buy this. It's still
and no, I've never said, I haven't said that. It's our money.
You're not domestic with each other, but you still have got a healthy relationship in general.
Nah. If you're not communicating, especially on money matters, the relationship's not healthy. Because let's face it, like the breakdown of many a relationship is to do with finances. So if you're not communicating, then the relationship's not a healthy one.
This is why you don't have a joint account. You just have your own account.
You can't. If you're just
you do a little bank transfer, you do a little standing order, and hold that 5 bills.
I disagree because You know why I disagree? Because there's relationships out there, right? They don't have a shared bank account. They don't have anything shared, yeah. But they communicate together, and they work out finances, themselves, and then say they're saving for a house or a car, whatever. They communicate as individuals and be like, oh yeah, I'm going out with my friend, and be like, okay, you're going out with your friend, but as long as you put £500 into the account, then
now hold on, you just said nothing's shared. So if our bank account isn't shared, then legally it's my money, isn't it? It's like you're using my debit card.
No.
What?
You can still have that, but other people that I know, they still have that perspective. Whereas, it's saving towards something, but you can still live your life as an individual. I'm not going to tell you can't go out to SDK. I'm not going to tell you can't go to the post office and get a stamp or whatever. But as long as you put that money into that thing, it's fine. You can live lavish life, but as long as you put money in the pot, then it's fine.
1 second.
And that's
Karen's ready. Karen, Lisa.
Yeah, because I was saying like that. I still feel like that can be a healthy relationship, because you still have communication, even though you're saying, oh, your money is my money. It still is your money's my money, but guess what? You're an individual too. But as long as you're putting money into our savings, as in like you can have your own account, she can have her own account and put money into it, and then at the end of the day, when it's time for payout day, you guys both have the money to give off to whatever, for the car or for the mortgage or whatever.
Like, okay, I hear what you're saying, Sorry, Nelson.
So, Simone,
Mm.
do you agree with that view?
Look, the way that I see it is that I like to have my own money. I will not rely on a man to maintain the things that I like. And I like holidays. Before COVID, I'm a person that was away 3-4 times a year. I'm always on the plane. And I feel a sense of pride in going to work and earning my own cash. And when I buy something, it was me that provided and worked for it. Now, if I have a partner that wants to do these things for me, that's wonderful. But I do not need you for me to have the materials and the things that I like. That's the way that I feel about the situation. If there's bills, I think there should be one pot. We both put money in the pot and all the money goes out, and then his money is his and my money is mine. Whatever happens in between is not his business and vice versa. That's what I think.
I agree. I definitely think you need to have. I think that's why it ain't a partnership if one person's earning, right?
Mhm.
One person's earning, it's something, but it ain't a partnership. If two people are working and putting something to a pot, that's a partnership, because your relationship, in your relationship, that's a partnership. I don't think the monetary thing is a partnership.
Okay, so
Can I just add to that?
Go on.
One thing that I like to say is that I think when people hear that type of perspective, they think, oh, you know, you're not working as a team, and they don't really understand that you can still, you know, like as long as you've got that's trust, you know, to be able to have your own money, and you know, I have my own money. That's that, and then putting it into a pot at the end of the day, that's trust, because you're trusting that person that they will save that amount for you, both of your goals that you have together.
No, hold on. At the top though, you know, the question was, you know, if you're the sole earner,
yes,
you know, now you're talking about both parties earning, so that, you know, that's a different story.
Yeah.
And not only that, you know, to go back to your earlier point, Lee, you conflated a few issues as well. You know, you conflated a few issues earlier. You know, if I'm the sole earner, okay, and we're saving towards something, we're saving towards buying a car or buying a house, then again, I'm not expecting like my missus or my partner to just go out and, you know, be spending money on like on a new bag or like on the shops and whatever. That's irresponsible, isn't it? How are we saving together if you're just going out spending money like willy-nilly?
Exactly.
You don't run
it
like
defeats
that.
the purpose, right?
It was just because of the conversation had changed slightly. That's the only reason why I said that.
So, Jams, knowing that, would you be happy to be a stay-at-home parent while your wife goes out to work?
I mean, like personally, that's not my prerogative. You know, I've always been like a careerist. I've always been like an earner. So that's not my prerogative. So no, not necessarily. There are obviously some people that are happy to do that, but personally, that's not for me.
So do you think that is a part of that naturistic male trait where we feel that we have to go out and you know, be the provider, protector?
I mean, to a degree, you know, to each his own at the end of the day, isn't it? But really and truly, men were still hardwired. There's something kind of primal about us actually, you know, being able to go out there and being able to provide for our loved ones at the end of the day, isn't it? And again, like, you know, statistics show like, you know, the high percentage, the high proportion of like male suicides, you know, and it affects like our demographic in particular. And I think part of the reason, if you unpick it and look at the psychology behind it, is because those men have either been told explicitly by people that they care about that they're useless, that they're worthless, that they don't do anything, you know, for their partner or their loved ones or whatever the case may be, or they themselves may feel as though, you know what, they haven't actually, you know, achieved, you know, what they set out to achieve, or they're not achieving in line with their peers and so on. You know? So yeah, there's a lot to that.
Okay, so do you think that from a gender perspective, that there is a correlation between what type of roles females go into compared to what type of roles males into? That's to Shayla.
Oh, okay.
Sorry, Jem. Sorry, I'll come back to you.
So what were you just saying? So
from a gender perspective, do you think that there is a correlation between what type of roles females go into compared to what type of roles males go into?
They don't relate. Like, as in,
they
like,
don't relate.
No, there's not a correlation. I don't think there's a correlation. No.
Okay. So, Delma, do you think that there's a correlation
between
what type of roles males go into compared to females? from a gender point of view?
Yeah, I think the well, it's kind of going back to similar to what James was saying, as in terms of as a man, your mind is built in a certain way, and I look at the jobs that men do, and a lot of it's down to kind of how psychologically as men you're wired. So you would tend to do a certain, almost any type of work, especially physical work. And I guess maybe women have been programmed through centuries that they do a specific type of job. So in their mind, they can only ever think about doing a certain type of job up to a certain level. Beyond that, I don't know any, I'm not saying there isn't, but I don't know many women that are trying to become bricklayers and builders, right? And I think it's just a psychological thing. I don't think there's nothing technically stopping her from doing it, but I'm pretty confident no woman trying to line
I just
up.
think we're not conditioned. Society doesn't condition women to do certain things, and vice versa for men. Like I said, how many men nurses are there? I'm not saying there's not men nurses in the world, but there's definitely more females. There's definitely more female midwives. If you go to a construction site, I mean, there's one outside my house right now. I pass it every day. I haven't seen one woman on that construction site in the year that they've been building new properties, you know, because we're not conditioned. When you go to school, the teacher doesn't say, oh yeah, Simone, you know, do you know you can be a scaffolder? Do you know you could be a bricklayer? Do you know you could be a plasterer? No, they're showing me a book of a wife at home looking after their children, or somebody cooking. That's a very popular, you see lots of cooking books for children, and it always shows the woman as the cooker.
I think it starts even before that. I think that psychological manipulation starts from, I think, as young as people, as kids are, because the toys that your parents buy you is different to the toys that your mom buy your brother is different from the toys that your mom buy your sister, right? So there's already a gender divide starting from when you're like, before you're even conscious of it. Your mom
and colors, blue for a boy, pink for a girl. It's true, from the womb.
It starts way before you even consciously aware of it. You already, because you're a boy, you're only wearing only up to this sort of color. If you're a girl, you wear pink and yellows and baby blues and all that stuff. And it starts all the way from then. By the time you're conscious, aware of what this is, you're in your big teenage, and it's really difficult.
Already part of the matrix, if you like, aren't you? It's already too late.
Very difficult to kind of train the thought.
I will pass that question on to Jams. Do you think there's a correlation?
Well, firstly, I love how like Simone articulated that, sitting in a room with like Avengers in the background there.
I wallpapered. I wallpapered this room.
Yeah, I remember you saying.
Mama did this. I'm proud.
Boys' room.
Yes.
That's all good. I mean, yeah, it's interesting, kind of following on from what Simone and what Delma was saying there. That I mean, yeah, I think in the UK, like in the Western world, as it were, I guess we are kind of socialized into particular gender roles and so on. And again, when in later life, in adulthood, where people kind of have conflict that lead to kind of mental health issues, is often because they've been socialized into being into conforming into a particular gender role, whereas it kind of goes against their nature. They obviously rather do something else. But again, because of fear of falling out with their family or kind of being cut off, they obviously do conform, and it causes that inner conflict. But I mean, I don't know if you guys are familiar with Dr. Jordan Peterson. He often talks about gender studies and so on, and he often references Scandinavia, parts of like kind of Eastern Europe that are kind of leagues ahead of us with like in terms of like equality policies and whatever, as a nation, as as a geographical area. And like studies show there that actually, again, they're leagues ahead of us, like in the UK, with equality, in the workplace, equal pay for men and women and so on and so forth. And, studies show that, if given equal access to opportunities, like to particular jobs and so on and so forth, kind of tagging on from what Delmar said there, the majority of women tend to move into roles that have to do with like, to do with healthcare and caring for others, like nurses and so on and so forth, whereas men tend to go on to become engineers and kind of, do more kind of physical labor and so on and so forth. And that's given equal opportunity, So again, I guess, yes, society and socialization does play a part in some instances. But I think more so, again, you know, we're hardwired. There's something primal about us choosing these particular roles. And that's not to say, obviously, people can't chop and change as we do and so on. You know, but I guess naturally, as you know, as human beings, we tend to gravitate towards certain occupations or certain kind of fields of interest.
What field do you think women go in more compared to men?
What are the options?
So no, just have a guess.
Kind of things to do with like kind of, you know, healthcare, nursing,
Yeah,
you know,
anything
looking after
nurturing.
children. Yeah, definitely.
Okay, so I don't necessarily think it's a thing that, you know, people think of and think, you know what, that's a man's role. I'm not going to go into it because I think women are naturally are nurturers. Yeah, no matter how much we are trying to get away from this whole, you know, neutral gender business, I think naturally we naturally do things as males and females. So when I look at the stats, for example, nursery nurses and assistants, 97.7% are female. Only 2.24% are males.
Wow.
Yes. Go to the other spectrum. From a male point of view, the highest proportion is vehicle technicians, mechanics, and electricians. So you've got 99.19% are male. 99.119. Female is 0.81%. I can go through probably over 10 to 100 roles which are more male dominated, and you'll see that females tend to be ranging between 3%, 2%. It's a very, very low number. Naturally, females are picking roles which are more box that need to be lifted. Your supervisor is going to go out and call who? The male or the female?
Yeah, the man.
Well,
exactly.
It depends. It depends if they want to have a HR issue on their hands, isn't it?
Yeah, but you, by natural instinct, you would ask the guy. Just women are delicate, and at least that's. Do you know what I mean?
No, not necessarily at work. Work's obviously a formal setting, isn't it? People are aware of like organizational policies and the laws and so on. You know?
Yeah,
so
I don't know. Like I said, I work for a hotel. I work for a restaurant.
Yeah.
And we get deliveries every day. Even the purchasing guys, everyone that collects the delivery, they're all male. There's not one female that works in that department. I don't even think a female would even think, let me apply for that kind of role. Do you know what I mean? It's like what you said, it's just genetic makeup, really.
Even in the workplace, even though I do agree with Jams that there are, you know, legal laws which we are all aware of, but irrespective, I think that the males or even the females, they automatically go and ask the males because they look at it as, you know, what kind of man are you if you see a woman struggling and you don't go to help her or you're carrying it for her? You see? So
but then, yeah, go on, Karen. No,
I mean, it's just ask the ladies. Would the ladies be offended that the guy in the Argos asked the man and not you? Would you be offended, ladies? And you'd be like, oh, you didn't ask me? Because I wouldn't be offended.
Well, everyone, some people are different. Those that are breaking trying to break the gender role stuff, they would be offended. You know, there's people out there that don't care about gender roles. Like they don't want to grow their kids up with knowing blue is for boys and pink is for girls. They would be offended. There's people like where I work, they get really offended if you call them, you know, him or her.
Okay.
Call them
So
they.
When there's a massive box that needs lifting, go and call them, come and lift this box.
Tell you that you should have things in place that will help a woman to lift it as well as a man.
Oh, come on. Listen,
that is not fair.
In
what contraption can you create to lift a box from a UPS van? I'm not gonna buy a forklift because I'm a woman. So now you want me to then use the fact that you're a woman now to then empower you for me now to go spend even more money
and provide the tools for you to do.
And no woman, and I ain't gonna buy a forklift.
A lot of the requests.
You see?
People are very.
Because now I've got to lean to the fact that you're female, and now I've got to go spend money to now fill the strength gap that you don't have by buying a forklift.
But Shayla, that is what Paul's saying is a very good point.
Yeah, but that's the thing. When you're part of those gender role, you know, those LBG, all those things, that's the thing. There's a lot of things that are unrealistic, but they want you to have that in place. So if you have to spend that money to go and get that thing to break that barrier, then you need to go and spend that money, because that's basically saying that you're basically saying that the man is stronger than me and I can't do the same thing that the man can do.
I disagree.
Which is true, but that
I
is
totally
it is.
disagree. I totally disagree. So what you're saying is, because I've got to go invest in specific lifting equipment because you're not physically or genetically strong enough.
Yeah.
How about you go deal with the genetics? Yeah.
So Jams, can you see Forbes' point?
Yeah, to a degree.
Nah, I'm a bit extreme. I'll play.
I agree with Forbes' point. For example, there's lots of places where there's either stairs, you get certain equipment into certain places. So you need somebody just to come in, pick it up, and move it. But if I go and call a female and she's struggling to lift that box, obviously we know there's always the exceptions. We know that for a fact. But generally, they will tend to call the man only because the man is naturally stronger. No, it's just a fact.
I mean, maybe like in social settings potentially, but not at work. Again, at work, people are acutely aware of human resource law and so on and so forth. Most business places will have a premises department, call premises, email premises, radio premises for them to come in.
What if there's
because okay. Hold on, folks, man. Put gender aside. Okay, put gender aside. Let's say, I am a man. All right, my job, I don't know, I'm an administrator. My job ain't to like lift boxes and whatever. And then I do agree to lift the box, and then suddenly I injure my back or my knee pops out or whatever the case may be. Then all of a sudden, my place of work, my employer has a legal case on their hands.
Well,
so
it's
not
a legal case. So all it is, it's a claim against their insurance. That is standard. Whether or not you could be a fit man who picks up a box and gets injured, you can be a unhealthy man or unhealthy female and get injured. It happens.
Yeah. I think you're missing the point.
No, I agree, but my point is, obviously, your employer wouldn't want to obviously have to face, that particular situation and be fined or be sued in that regard. So my point is, obviously, it doesn't matter whether you're a man or a woman, there are going to be designated people, designated departments and staff to do that anyway. Once again,
most of 99.9% of these companies already subconsciously go down the gender role anyway. They all got handyman, right? None of them ain't got no handy woman, right? They all got handyman and do those physical labor, right? So they themselves already pigeonhole the roles themselves anyway.
No, because
they change the name and call it facilities managers, but we know.
Hold on, I thought the facility manager, she's a woman. She ain't
lifting no boxes.
No,
I guarantee she ain't lifting. She's calling
and also
Andy. She's calling Andy.
They're women. They're obviously, you guys want to talk about gender roles, so you got to talk about all the genders. There are women that identify as men. So what you're going to tell me, and they're working in that position, but they identify as a man. So you're not going to go and call Stacey, that telling name to Stephen to come and pick the box up because it's a woman.
So she identifies as a man. That's her prerogative. She can, in today's world, you can. No, hold on. No,
you can't choose to be a man at work and a woman at home.
At work, in general, she identifies as a man. So at work, that you need to call someone to lift the box, and you're going to go choose a man when she identifies as a man. You're going to skip her. You're not going to call her.
Yeah, but people in this world look on the outside. They're not thinking about, let me call they. They're not thinking about that. They're just like, oh, that's a woman. Like, no matter how offended.
That's called discrimination.
You may get to look at you and be like, no, she can't lift it.
That's why they're
like, she'll be like, him, and then you're like, wow, like.
Yeah, I don't. It's a case of someone will just overlook someone because they call themselves a man. In most of the places I've worked at, and I've worked at loads of different companies, multinationals. When it comes to moving things, they don't just think, okay, we're going to call the facilities department to come and move every single box for every single department. It doesn't work like that. And from my experience, I've had cases where there's been females in the office and the boss says, can you help lift them boxes? Is any of the females, because he knows that the boxes are heavy and the stairs. Or even though, yes, there's a chance that also, as a male, we can also fall. But for whatever reason, they know they've got this sort of subconscious thing where actually want to protect the females. If you think about it, even in war, the reason why they didn't want females to go on the front line is because that they were concerned if a female gets injured, the males will try to go and protect them and get themselves killed.
But it's 21st century and women can now be on
we
the front
get that.
line.
No.
Yeah, but they still ain't lining up.
that.
They still ain't lining up in their droves to go to the army, though.
They do. I don't
No, they
know.
don't.
I'm not saying women ain't lined up to go to the army, but you ain't suddenly when this woman liberation thing happened, you didn't just see the floodgate open. It's like there wasn't a floodgate open where a whole bunch of women decided, you know what, we're gonna be like we're going into the army. Suddenly, the same trickle that was happening before is the same trickle that's happening now. Right? So like,
It's true. So true.
It's women empowerment when applicable. That's what they should call it.
Applicable.
So again, I'm not saying that we are against or we're saying that females can't do certain roles, because I believe that probably 99% of roles females can do the same.
Probably better
that males can do. I don't know about better, but I think they can probably do equals as good. But when it comes to the physical labor jobs, I think that's where I think a lot of women will struggle. Yes, I'm not saying that there aren't some that can't do it, but I'm just saying, damn,
I would never question a woman's mental strength, right? A lot of women are mentally stronger in ways than men, right? So from a mental standpoint, I am with you. I would never question a woman's mental strength and ability to do anything mentally. And I agree with it. I am more looking at it in the physical aspect, right?
We're physically stronger. We can push out babies. You can't.
No comment.
Some women get C-section and she she's cold with his C-section.
You guys are just stronger when you want to be stronger, but when it comes to childbirth, you could never try it.
So would you say in a relationship that both the male and the female are equal?
Equal in what sense?
Of control the relationship.
Well, yeah, of course.
No.
Do you agree, Forbes?
No.
I don't think so.
No.
Do you agree, Simone?
I think it's what James was saying before. I think it's all about communication. It has to be a level of, we have to come together and agree on, this is what the situation is. This is my responsibility in the relationship. This is your responsibility in the relationship. And how do we cohesively work together for the end goal to be great? I think it can be done. I don't think it's easy, but I don't think it's impossible either.
You have in every team. You have a team leader, right? There's always going to be somebody that is going to lead the conversation, is going to make the final decision. You can't have two people going, no, you choose. No, somebody makes the choice. I'm not saying
nah.
Not in a male and female relationship. I disagree.
Leaders are elected, isn't it? So you know, in some things that I'm
no.
I mean, if you're talking about an organization, a company, leaders naturally, there's a distinction between a leader and a manager. Leaders can naturally emerge. But if we're talking about in a relationship like of two people, then there are some things that I'm going to be good at and I'm going to be strong at, and I can lead on those types of decisions. And there's other things that my partner's going to be good at, and they can lead on those decisions. But again, as Simone's saying, it's all about communication. Again, why would you want to be in a relationship with anybody if you're going to be dominated or you're going to be dominated? Why would you want that? There's something wrong with you.
I think it goes back to what you're saying about women being like, how the job roles, the women go to more job roles between for caring and looking after. I think people need to understand in relationships, usually the woman is the one that holds whether the man doesn't like it or not, the woman holds the relationship together. Personally, that's what I think. But the man thinks he's the head, but the woman actually holds it.
I disagree.
The reason why I feel like this is because a lot of times it's the woman that is the nurturer of the relationship. So like if the man goes and cheats or steps out of his relationship, right? A woman is more likely to stay and forgive the woman and hold the relationship together. But if it was on the other foot now, the man would likely to leave and he would go away. But the woman, a lot of women put themselves aside to cater to their man. They will stop working. They will become mothers. They will put their emotions aside for certain things that have happened in the relationship. They will look past the if a man looks down on them or if the man treats them a certain way. But as soon as if the roles are returned and the woman did that to the man, it's more unlikely that a man's going to sit there and be like, okay, well, you made me feel, you know, express the fact that she made him feel that way and stay in that relationship. I think it's more likely the woman holds the relationship together. That's what I personally.
Do you agree with that point?
I don't know. It's just obviously speculation, isn't it? I don't know the statistics on it, you know, in terms of like, you know, the national picture, you know. But
stay.
If a woman cheat, well, again, if you're asking me a personal question, I don't know. Like I've got standards. I've got like a moral compass, isn't it? You know, someone cheats on me, they never abused my trust, and therefore I'm no longer interested anymore. Someone abusing my trust. Well, you know, that's their. If she's cheated on me, then she could decide to stay if she wants to. But I ain't staying. You're staying there with yourself.
No, I'm saying, you know, if you cheat on her, would you want her to stay? Would you want her to
stay? No, because again, it's like, you know, if I've cheated on you, I've abused your trust, and by my own standard, if I've abused your trust, then it's like you got no self-respect if you want to be staying with me once I've cheated on you. You know, that's my view. You know? And again, but before you go on, it's like there are a lot, you know, to what Shayla described there are lots of men, you know, who hold relationships together.
No, there are some, yes.
You know, so there are lots of men that actually like assume that role. But again, it goes back to my earlier point about kind of male suicide and about, again, kind of being socialized, you know, and being able to conform to particular things. There are lots of men that feel as though, you know, they can't express their emotions on things because they're going to be deemed as being soft or whatever. And again, let's face it, we're in 2021 now. Okay, if you've got a man that kind of assumes that role, that is holding a relationship together, that kind of, you know, they've been cheated on by a woman, that woman then again is going to have no respect for the man. They're going to take to their socials and, you know, the kind of things that, you know, that people are going to be saying about that man, isn't it? And then, you know, for all intents and purposes, that man's social life is ruined, isn't it? You know, so that's something that we need to be mindful of there as well, man. So you know, people don't always practice what they preach.
100%. Forbes, do you agree with Shayla?
Yeah.
So basically, what you're saying is that if you cheat, you expect her to stay, but if she cheats, you're gone.
You know what? Anytime you do something like that, and regardless of whether it's the man or the woman, I always feel that you're gonna, especially if you love the person and you probably made a mistake, right? I think you're always gonna try and convince yourself firstly, and also try to convince the other person that you can change, right? So you always, if you're how I think is, I'll always want to fix something. If I made a mistake somewhere, I'll always try and.
That sounds like a man's gonna do it again.
It's a man that knows that you make imperfect choices in life. It doesn't have to mean sleeping with another woman is an imperfect choice. It could be something else. It could be something financial, right? But we make mistakes, right?
Yeah, I don't think cheating or sleeping with another person is a mistake.
Exactly, I agree with 100%. That's not
a mistake. That's
premeditated. You chose to.
Well, it may not necessarily be premeditated, but there's willful intent there, isn't it? You know?
It's choice. You have a choice. You don't have to do anything.
Yeah, like, I've never been that drunk where you just go out and then well, I didn't even know I'll get there. I've never been. I've been absolutely beyond serious. I've never been that drunk. So it's normally
that's down to your own moral standards, though, isn't it? There are men that obviously don't have those standards and they'll look for any old excuse, you know, to justify why they've cheated. But again, you know, if you are a woman and you know your man has cheated on you, again, it's like you have to. It doesn't matter how long you've been together. Don't matter if you got children. It's like you got to draw the line there. You know, otherwise,
they're calling it strength. They're calling it strength. There's a lot of on social media, they call it strength. If you stay with your partner that cheats on you and steps out on you, it takes a strong woman to stay. Well, I believe it takes a strong woman to leave, but now they're saying no. It takes a strong woman to stay with a man that has consistently made her feel a certain way, even if it's not cheating or made her toxic. They now call it strength. You can't call that person.
I think a man created that.
I wouldn't call that strength. I would definitely not call that strength.
Okay, so let me shoot it from a different angle because I disagree with Jack to a certain point. Now, we know that there are some men who just habitual cheaters, and then there are some who just, you know, cheated by, it wasn't a mistake, but they went out and they done something that they wouldn't normally do. Yeah, they went, and then there are some who are basically emotionally dead. So in a scenario where the man is emotionally dead because the female is not paying him either any attention, she's basically ignoring him, ignoring his needs. He's spoken to her about it on numerous occasions. Then he finds himself in a situation that he shouldn't be in, and he steps out. Now, would you say in that scenario the woman is weak for taking him back, or she should jump ship, Lily?
I would say I would look at it from a perspective of where, you know, when someone's dealing with neglect. Now, if someone's neglected, right, they'll go out and they'll try and, you know, compensate for what the person didn't give them. That's what I would say.
So, Simone, would you leave them?
Absolutely. I can't. I don't like to feel like I've been disrespected. I like to lay down my head at night with a peaceful mind. And if my man did that, I don't think I'm sleeping peacefully at night. So therefore, you and I can't be in a situation together.
But can I also say this? Yeah? It's just that sometimes I don't understand that idea of, oh, just because I don't like a certain thing, you have to not like it as well. You have to deal with it as well. You have to deal with my own my own problems, and then you start to, you know, I don't want to cook today, or I don't want to cook every day, and then it becomes a trend, and it's like, okay, so the other person is just doing everything, so they're feeling all of the pressure, and now they don't have anyone to talk to, or like there's no relationship there. So for them as well, I can understand where they feel like, oh, there's no relationship, so that's why they step out, because there's nothing there.
But relationships only stop, and I go back to what Jam says, when you stop communicating. One party has to stop talking to the other party. If you're not expressing the way that you feel, or you're expressing the way that you feel, but you feel like the other person is not receiving, then in my opinion, you might need to relook on how you're delivering the information. Do you get what I mean? Because sometimes maybe the way that you're saying it is being misinterpreted by the other side. So find another way to say what you want to say. Do you get what I mean? But if you stop talking, of course there's going to be a problem. That's just common knowledge.
But then that's what I'm saying, you know, in terms of neglect, and those, you know, women or men who feel like, oh, you know, I'm not going to do this anymore, I'm not going to do that just because, then that's where that whole the relationship, there's no relationship, comes into it, and you want me to, or he to put up with your own rules that you've put on our relationship. And
I'd ask the guy this: if the guy felt the need to go and cheat because he felt that his needs wasn't being looked after, you might want to ask your woman why she doesn't want to give you anything, because you may be doing something wrong yourself. So sometimes you need to look in the mirror.
No, come on.
No, that's possible.
No.
That's
no. So if she's the one that is having to look after the children, also go to work, and also cook dinner, by the time she comes home, she's tired. She's knackered.
No.
Yeah. So no, I'm not saying all women, yes? But I'm saying to you, hear a lot of cases where the females are saying that they're just tired. As the man, the man, a lot of times, you know, that the men, not all men, and I know James is gonna come for me, but not all men, but a lot of men don't tend to, you know, help out as much as they should. He's got more of the burden and the load. So hence where obviously she's more, you know, physically tired, which is natural because of that imbalance. The men want it a lot more than the females. In that scenario, I personally think that it's not a case of what the man is doing, because if the roles were reversed and the man's doing the full load and the female's doing less and she wanted it, I think probably 9 times out of 10 the man will give it to her. Very few men would sort of turn it down and say, no thanks, I'm good, thanks today. Yeah?
I pray that I never get in that position where I don't want it from my man. I don't understand that.
Yeah, but don't forget, you said that you're not working and he's providing for you.
Yeah,
so what he's all the time.
No, but I'm saying that I don't. Those women, I don't know. I pray that I just don't become that woman that is like, I'm so tired.
Shayla's never going to work, right? So
exactly.
No, but
she can always have a whole heap of reserve.
Anybody watches this, I want to disclaimer. I didn't know that you was talking about partners. If I knew, then I would have said that she used to go and work. But when you're married, I think it's a whole different ball game.
Let's question that then, yeah? So you're saying when you're a partner and when you're married, it's a different ball game.
Yes.
Now, bear in mind, before you're married, you're a partner, correct?
Yeah, and I'm not doing
Okay.
I'm not doing married things for a man that's my partner.
Okay, that's fine. That's okay. Okay, so Shayla,
You got a sentence on your back.
are you aware that unfortunately a lot of people find married men attractive?
Yeah, I know.
You know,
It's the forbidden fruit, isn't it?
exactly.
But there's more to lose.
But and vice versa though.
Yes. So no, but so when you say that now that you're married, you take your foot off the pedal.
I'm not taking my foot off the pedal, but I can ease because my thing is in my mind. I don't know the way I'm wired. Yeah, the way I'm wired is that if I take my foot off the pedal and you go outside and play games, best believe your life will be ruined because I can ruin you now. Because financially, I can ruin you. I can destroy you. We're joint together, you know, and you're gonna go and step up. But when you're my partner and you decide to leave me, I can't get nothing from you. There's no money. You don't have to. You're not entitled to give me anything. But when we are married and you step out, I can divorce you and you have to look after me legally. You have to look after me. But when you're my partner, there's not really much you can do.
Not if the man ain't been working. What about if you're the
he's gonna be. I will never be the breadwinner like that.
But so what you're saying then, like, is that you got layers, and like, if you're in a relationship with someone, you'd be purposely deceptive. And as soon as you're married, then obviously you're going to show them everything that they could have had in those years that you've been together prior, that you've been holding back. Like that.
I'm not giving them everything in a partnership. Yes, so I guess.
Again, there you go. It comes down to communication, isn't it? So if that's you're getting if you're getting with someone,
and let him
obviously
know that as well.
And there we go. You know, so again, that's the fundamental root of all of this, really, isn't it? That's the theme, isn't it?
Yeah, it comes you have to go in with your eyes
from
open.
The start. Yeah.
But imagine on date number 1, 2, 3, or 4, I come out and I say from the jump, you know, I ain't paying for you, I ain't cooking for you, I ain't doing X, Y, Z for you. That relationship ain't gonna go nowhere.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
but it could because some people see that as a challenge. Some people be like, okay, cool, yeah, and they see that as a challenge.
Come on. In the real world, to be honest, yeah, most people don't like the truth. For example, if I say I like you, yeah, but I can't be faithful, I just love women. By me being that honest, how many women are gonna say, okay, I like your honesty, I can work with it.
Some people do.
You know, sometimes it's funny, yeah. That's quite attractive.
No, but out of 10, how many women? Out of 10, how many women do you think are gonna say okay?
Some women are like men as a challenge.
No, out of 10. Come here.
There could be 5. Because there
is a woman that is
my experience, yeah. Let me give you my own experience. I like when a guy has told me that before, and to me, I just put you in a category. Okay, so you want to be like that. Okay, so you're in that category for me. So that means I know how to maneuver with you. I will still date you, but let me stop.
No, please go on, man. This is getting juicy.
Exactly.
Yeah, I want to know.
This is your future husband.
I feel like today's age, women are different. Some women will accept that, and some women won't. But more now, a man will tell a woman, I'm married. I'm married, or like I've got a girlfriend, but I want to talk to you. Like I even had a guy actually DM me, and he was talking to me, and then he was like, I was questioning him, and he said he's got 3 kids. I was like, okay, so where's the mother of your kids? He goes, I live with her. I'm like, you live with her? He goes, yeah, he lives with her. Then I was just like, okay, so what, are you together? And he was like, yeah, we're together. And I go, so why are you talking to me? He was like, I just wanted to be honest with you and open to let you know that I've got a woman that I'm with and I've got kids with her and I live with her. And I just wanted to know if you'll be okay with that.
Yeah, but by your standard, as you said earlier, that's all right, isn't it? Because they're not married.
No.
Well, no.
That's the one.
James is listening hard, man.
That's not what I meant.
Yeah.
But my thing is, do you put people into categories? So some people are okay with that. It depends on what they want out of the relationship. And then there's some people that will be like, no. But I think it's always good, like you said, like to tell the person straight away what you want. Because even if the woman goes, I don't cook, I don't clean, I don't want to do any of these stuff. Some men will be like, okay, that's fine. Some men don't mind stuff like that. They will be like, we'll work around it. But there's some that have requirements, like you need to be able to do X,
Yeah,
Y.
and I agree. But in a healthy relationship, and if the relationship is to be long term, it's about having compromise, isn't it? It's not about saying I don't do X, Y, Z. It's like, you know, I'm not in favor of doing that, but I'm willing like to do that at times, like, you know, if that's something that you need, you know. And I think again, like lots of relationships don't last or they break down because of communication.
Yeah.
I like the question that Nelson raised before about, you know, about sex and whatever the case may be. It's like, you know, again, it's like if you're communicating the way that you feel to your partner, whether you're a man or a woman, whatever, and your partner's not responding to you in kind, you know, they may not agree with what you're saying, but it's your feelings, you're expressing yourself. If you're not being listened to, then that just breeds resentment over time, isn't it?
Yeah.
You know, and it doesn't matter how attracted you may have been to that person in the first instance, that resentment builds up, and then that person automatically just becomes the most ugliest person to you in the world, and you don't want to have anything to do with them. And then ultimately that leads to the demise of your relationship, isn't it? Now that there are some men or some women, again, that won't communicate, that they will just kind of just go around creeping and whatever. But again, if you did ever love that person, or indeed you do respect that person, or even if you don't, but you're someone who is self-respecting, then you're going to make them know, boy, I've tried to communicate these things with you over time. You haven't listened to me. As far as I'm concerned, the relationship's over with, isn't it? But again, it's about communicating that, man.
And the problem is a lot of people that can't communicate. They don't know how to communicate.
Yeah.
I agree with that point. So on final note, the stats on marriages, people get divorced every 12.5 years. The longer you are together, then the higher the chances of you get from the ages of 40 plus, the divorce rates are even higher than they are for the ages below 40.
What do you mean if they get married older?
So people who are age 40 and older, the divorce rates are higher in those age brackets.
Yeah. As in if you've been in a relationship, a long-term relationship.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. I guess again, it's like, you know, sometimes I guess the longer that you are together, you can tend to take the other person for granted.
Exactly.
But again, it comes down to communication, isn't it? You know, no one likes to be taken for granted.
I think things have changed as well, because now there's social media, people are easily accessible. So when the older generation now, some of them are getting into it and like seeing, oh wow, like I can get access to this, you know. I can see, okay, there's other things that could be better.
For
the
me,
grass always looks greener.
Exactly.
I feel marriage. I think for marriages, there should be like a contract. And I think that contract should get reviewed like every 36 months. I don't really believe. I think marriage should be a contractual.
Yeah, but
what marriage is, it literally is, isn't it?
It is.
It's a contractual arrangement.
It is, because if you look at all the way marriage is structured, it's structured like you said, like a contract. But I think there should be physically something in place where every 5 years review the terms of them terms and conditions, right?
Appraisals.
Yeah, like the last 5 years you committed and said that we're going to do A, B, and C. Right now we ain't gone nowhere. Still at home. We ain't been on that holiday to Mauritius yet.
I think a lot of people need to be with people that they actually want to be with as well. Because a lot of people just get in with people because.
Why I say that? Because I feel we change. So I think we change.
Yeah, I was going to say people just naturally change and evolve with time.
Yeah, our taste buds change much less other people. Like, you get what I'm saying? I'm taking that as a simplified example, but you know what I'm saying? As even being, I feel like we change so much that I feel it's so difficult to say to somebody. I'm not saying I'll never get married, but I feel so difficult to say to somebody, I can guarantee you I'm going to feel the same way today as I'm going to feel in 50 years time. And you're basically saying that when you get married, I'm going to feel the same way today as I feel in 80 years or 80.
That just sounds like a liability. You just sound like a liability.
That sounds mad.
I just don't see.
One second.
I don't see how a couple can get into a marriage and expect that everything's going to be all rosy and dozy, because from when you're dating, right? If for me personally, like if we're dating and we go through certain things and say like you just walk out every time we have an argument or a disagreement, or you can't simple things, just it's not adding up for you. Why would I go into a marriage with that person if they haven't even been able to get through, like, you know, level 1, level 2? You know what I mean? Like, it doesn't make any sense.
Because everybody's dealing with different things, though. I think people need to understand that people have their own personal problems that they've had, like whether it's trauma as a kid or being abandoned. You need to learn to grow with each other.
But I'm saying, like, all of these things, I get it. Not everything will show up before you get married. But I'm saying, like, there are certain red flags that you'll probably notice, but because you're in that love stage, it's like, oh, you know, it goes over your head. But I'm saying, like, to date each other long enough over amount, or be around each other, like, you know, for a longer enough amount, or not even so, you can just be talking on the phone and talk with each other and ask certain questions. I feel like certain people aren't asking certain questions before
the right questions.
Yeah, not the right questions.
Okay, so I'm gonna end on this last note. So you can ask all the questions you like.
You still don't know them.
You can think in your mind that you've got all the right answers. As we all know, as human beings, we change daily. So the person who you first met won't be that same person in 10, 15 years time.
It won't be.
And unless you sort of change and evolve together and accept each other for what they are, then unfortunately you're going to have problems. Also, I think that a lot of people get into relationships for the wrong reasons. I think that's one of the major issues, and people don't quite understand why they get into this and the type of person that they are choosing to either have children with or get married. On that point, I'm going to do tonight. And we can reconvene the subject of relationships on our next episode.
God bless out, people.
For attending, and we'll speak to you soon.
Good night.
Take care. Bye.